if you could play any other TV dad in history other than the one that you did, or one that you admired most, you can answer it both ways, and or. I admired him most. I wanted to play that role if I could have gotten it. I keep picking on Stephen because we're going in order, but let's start with Stephen.
He's the most erudite.
Yeah, well,
You know, I'd probably choose something utterly different from me. I'd choose Dennis Leary's role, you know, on Rescue Me. I mean,
Right.
I think that's about as good as it gets from, you know, or I'd go the other way and it would be, you know, the archetype Robert Young on Father Knows Best. You know?
okay. You might be surprised with something in a little bit since you said that. Michael.
I don't have anything too terribly recent because I've, as time has gone on, I've become less of a television watcher over time, but I do, so I go backwards to people like, well, I mean, I thought of this many times tonight. I always loved Hugh Beaumont on Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
And I'm sorry he's gone. I would have loved to
What was in
have
that
seen
pipe,
him.
though? He always had to get that pipe going.
Right, exactly. I thought I'd have a pipe and slippers waiting for me just to get in this chair. And I'm so glad I'm sitting in this particular chair because then I don't have to look at it. Color is unbelievable. At any rate,
That's you.
I always loved Leave It to Beaver because the kids were really allowed to be kids, I love all their friends, Wally's friends Lumpy, and of course Eddie Haskell, and you know, Beaver's pals, and you know, they were real kids, and I grew up on that, and that was all one of my favorite things.
Right.
I'm sorry, Hugh Beaumont isn't here for me to tell
All
you.
right, Reggie.
I've met Tony Dow, that was a big deal.
Well, for me, I was a big fan of The Rifleman, Chuck Connors.
Yes.
I used to love the relationship he had with his son.
Yeah.
You know, there was just no black people at that time.
Hey, wait. Sammy Davis Jr. guest starred as a gunslinger on The Rifleman.
I missed that episode.
Well, yeah.
Well, good.
Okay. So you liked Lucas McCain?
Yeah,
I did
it was
too.
great.
All right, John?
I would have to say Dick Van Dyke, that gentleman. You know, that speech that they showed actually in the thing of Where Do Babies Come From, you know, it just, I was lucky enough to have a moment like that on my show where Angus asks me what a booty call is, and I have this extensive monologue about, oh, well, you know, in the Old West, but just, you know, that was sort of my homage, so thanks, man. That's wonderful, wonderful stuff.
All right, Billy?
John Aston in the Addams Family. I love that show. My dad used to cut out the Charles Addams cartoons out of the New Yorker and stuff, and I loved the way he was so into his wife and the way they were, and the kids were kind of there, but it was really great, really great. But weirdly enough, all the TV dads I grew up kind of remembering, there was something that happened to the mother. The wife was out of the picture. I mean, Dick, you had a wife, but
So
the Rifleman, I mean, what was the deal there? Did he shoot her by accident? And what was the deal with Andy Griffin and Opie? I mean, was that his bastard kid, or what was that?
Courtship of Eddie's father?
What was it? Yeah, courtship of Eddie's father? I mean, Uncle Bill, was he their father or uncle? Or
Really?
what the hell happened to Aunt Dorothy? I mean, you know, it's nutty.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, you got
You're really wound up about this.
Wait a second. You got My Three Sons, and you got William Demers, his Uncle Charlie. What did he knock off the mother?
maybe
Ended up on the payroll. I mean, you can keep going with this stuff.
You're really making up for
Ben
it.
Cartwright. Now, what was the deal with the cook? What was the deal with the cook?
Ben Cartwright had 4 boys by 4 different wives.
He must have, because they sure didn't look alike. Or maybe they were
Patrick Duffy.
I always thought Fess Parker's wife on Daniel Boone was the hottest woman in a long
And she also
skirt
played in The Rifleman.
I have ever seen in my life.
Who was it?
Patricia Blair.
Yeah,
That's
Patricia
right.
Blair.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful. So, you know, For all the other reasons, all the other dads that are talking about
Right.
were cool, but I just thought Fess Parker hit pay dirt.
There you go. Dick Van Patten.
Well, I think I would have had the most fun playing Carol O'Connor on All in the Family. Now, I want to say, I want to say one thing though, and I think Carol O'Connor was wonderful. But now maybe you won't agree with me. I think he was stealing a lot of stuff from Jackie Gleason. Think about it. Remember the Gleason show? You're too young. But I think that Carol O'Connor stole a little from Jackie Gleason, but he did it to perfection.
All right.
Well, they wanted Gleason to begin with.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Carol told me, yeah.
They also wanted you to play the son-in-law, Dick, the son-in-law on the Danny Thomas show, and they were afraid.
They did?
Yeah. I had lunch with Pat Harrington the other day, and apparently you were the first pick, and they thought you might be too strong and might upstage Danny Thomas. So,
I had the nose for it.
well, on the quest, I digress. I'm sorry, Brian. You're if you could be any other TV dad.
Speaking of stealing, when I was starting to work on Malcolm in the Middle, I really didn't know where that character was going to go, but I did know one thing. All I had to do was look at my hero, Dick Van Dyke, to just, I adore you, you know that, and he has always been my idol, and every stitch of comedy that I've ever been able to obtain has come this way, so thank you.
baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby. Hell yeah.
I owe you a lot of commission money, by the way.
And Dick Van Dyke.
I've been his best PR guy.
Well, I know you have. This will be a tough question.
He was on Diagnosis Murder.
I know.
On a two-part, played a homeless guy. It was one of the best performances, and I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah.
The guy does comedy, he can do anything.
A lot of people have been on your shows.
Oh, yeah.
Raise your hand if anybody's worked with Dick.
Almost.
How do you like that?
There you go.
What was I going to say? Oh, I think the best TV father was Bill Cosby. Because that show, he did shows about the connection between the father and his sons and the problems the kid had. I thought it was so empathetic about family life. I just loved it.